Hello everybody. So White Knuckle dropped an update. Apparently it's been in early access for a year, just a year, and in 1 year they've made huge amounts of progress on the game. The new update was quite jarring as a returning player with all of the stuff that it flashed on screen, but I wanna preface my entire sort of react with the fact that if you're a new player, the game is pretty chill. Sorry, apparently even if you're a new player with an empty file, like you're going into the game with an empty file, you click play, and you have this nonsense on your screen. Why am I getting an OSU like an OSU mod select screen when I play White Knuckle? What the hell is this? A new player does not need to, okay, I will stop talking about a new player, because, look, my problem was that this stuff on my screen was too overwhelming, okay? I'm opening my favorite climbing game, my favorite roguelite, I guess, my sort of, I don't know, it's a casual game for me, that I just open up and then I do a run. It flashes a bunch of stuff on my screen, then I click play and this screen appears, and I'm thinking, this is nonsense, but maybe the only reason it appeared is because, you know, I have a old save file with everything unlocked. But it's not true. It's actually, even if you're a new player, you have all of this nonsense on your screen. And I just feel like it's overwhelming, especially for the campaign mode. I feel like this stuff makes sense for the endless mode, where you're playing for high scores, you're playing for speed, you're playing for whatever, right? But in the campaign mode, especially from the start, this just feels crazy, because these aren't even like accessibility options, right? None of them are unlocked from the beginning. They're specifically score modifiers and stuff like that. You even have a score multiplier thing in the corner, which is another thing that I find really annoying. Look, I'm not a person who cares about scores too much. Like, it's cool that there are speed challenges in the game, it's cool that you can go for high scores, right? But I don't want that to be the sort of central point of the game. And the problem that I see White Knuckle with this update going into is making it sort of like making the metagame of White Knuckle more important, like a priority higher than the core gameplay loop and then the narrative and the story of the game. Oh my god, I deleted all my settings because I had to. Oh my god, never. This just feels like it's too gamified. It feels too much unlike, you know, the campaign of White Knuckle that I played before. And I understand that I can just ignore the screen and play without trinkets, but I already got this like off-putting feeling. And I feel like if a new player, that's where the new player stuff is important again, if a new player is presented with this screen when they first open the game, they will just think that, oh, it's like an arcade game, a score-based game, which is not really how I interpret the game, right? It's not really what I enjoy about the game. But that's just my concern. And the second concern that I had with this update is that, you know, all the unlocks and upgrades that you did inside of the run. You know, you play the game, and while you play the game inside the game, you unlock stuff. White Knuckle is a type of game that has all of its mechanics inside the game world. You know, most of your interaction with the game actually happens inside of the game world, not in menus, which I really like about the game. And in fact, there are new things that have been added to break rooms, where you can buy stuff and upgrade stuff, which I really like. In your main menu, there's this stuff where you can buy, where you can spend in-game currency to do like global upgrades, which sort of takes me out of immersion. It sort of breaks immersion, because again, White Knuckle does this thing where most game mechanics, most upgrades, unlocks are done in the game world. But with this update, there are suddenly upgrades you can purchase outside of the game world. And I don't understand why that is. I don't understand the reason for this menu, because you can still purchase these upgrades inside of the game. You go into the game, you get to the shop level, and you buy them there. I will say this. Obviously, all of my points are not huge deals, are not big deals. In fact, there is a part of me that enjoys these things, right? I like that they are in the game. But I feel like the meta game of scores and all of these huge amount of modifiers that just kind of clutter your screen. You know, look at how much information there is on screen already when you play the game. There is a huge amount of statistics. And then there is like another screen. That's like too much. Okay? In my opinion, that's too much. While these small things, these small feelings about these things in the game are not as important as the core game loop, they're not important as the narrative, they're not important as the mechanics, they feel like they make, at least right now, my experience, my enjoyment of White Knuckle worse. And I don't think that has ever happened to me while playing this game. Like, this game has been an up and up, better and better, with every unlock, with every update, and now suddenly they drop this also mod menu, which just seems like a bit too much. Okay? And it seems concerning, because if they start adding more stuff like this into the game, if they adding more buttons, like imagine this screen but there are like even more buttons to click, it's gonna look like fucking Geometry Dash, okay? It's gonna look like Geometry Dash, and it's gonna be a mess. And I hope that doesn't happen to this game. Spoiler time. I just finished a run, and I get this score screen telling me my score. Like, full screen thing, telling me my score. And I'm like, this is sort of not what I play White Knuckle campaign mode for. I play it for the campaign, not for the score. And this thing adds a lot to replayability for sure, but it takes away from the feeling of the campaign. And another game that did that before was Rain World. You know, in vanilla Rain World, you finish your run, and that's it, you finish your... It's like, it's a game. It's a story, it's whatever. But when Downpour dropped, now every time you finish a game, there's like a huge, like, 5-minute score screen that calculates your score. And it just takes away a lot from the narrative parts of the game, in my opinion. I think... I don't know, I think White Knuckle already has like a timer checkbox, right? So, couldn't you like separate those two? Couldn't you separate the score part of the game? And Alright, so after I recorded the video, they added skip score counter to accessibility settings of all things. And there is also like additional run info, which is also a separate checkbox. I like that, okay? I like that you can skip the score counter. I think that's at the end of the game. I like that. What the hell is this? Why is this? Okay, this was broken for some reason. I'm glad this is a thing. This fixes my main concern. And I'm less worried about the game now. Alright, thank you for watching. I still love White Knuckle, obviously, okay? Like, the only point I'm making this video about, like, cherry-picking minor things is because I love this game so much, and I want it to be as good as it can possibly be. And I'm not against, like, these things in principle, these unlocks in principle. I just hope they don't add too much of them, and they allow, you know, more casual players space to just enjoy the game casually. You know, without bombarding them with these score screens, modifiers, and stuff like that. I don't care about that. It annoys me, okay? It annoys me.